8 wide receivers went before Devonte Adams in the 2014 NFL Draft. Devonte Adams is back with his best friend Aaron Rodgers, but today we're going to find out how those wide receivers drafted before him turned out and compare them to Adams. First receiver taken, Sammy Watkins.
With the 4th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Sammy Watkins, wide receiver, Clemson.
Was selected by the Buffalo Bills 4th overall out of Clemson. As a rookie, Watkins had 65 catches for 982 yards with 6 touchdowns. This was a solid rookie campaign. Heading into his second season, he had a slow start to the year, dealing with injuries. He did eventually pick it up and finish with 1,047 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns. But this was Sammy's last season with 900 plus yards, as he would deal with a foot injury. He had appeared to have broken his foot and the Bills had enough. They traded him to the Rams for a draft pick. After an underwhelming year with them, he signed a 3-year contract worth $48 million with the Kansas City Chiefs. With the Chiefs, he never put up any noteworthy numbers, but he did win a Super Bowl with them in 2019. After 2020, he spent some time with the Ravens and Packers. He hasn't played since the 2022 season. Second receiver taken, Mike Evans.
With the 7th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Mike Evans, wide receiver, Texas A&M.
Was selected by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7th overall out of Texas A&M. Mike Evans wasted no time as he'd have 68 receptions for 1,051 yards with 12 touchdowns as a rookie. He would follow that up with back-to-back seasons with 12,000 plus yards. In 2018, he had his best season yet, 86 catches for 1,524 yards. Fast forward to 2020 when the Bucs signed Tom Brady in shocking fashion. Mike Evans won a Super Bowl that year. Mike Evans is a 5-time Pro Bowler with 1,000 yards in every season of his career. Mike Evans most likely has a gold jacket waiting for him in Canton, Ohio. Third receiver taken, Odell Beckham Jr.
With the 12th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Odell Beckham, wide receiver, LSU.
One of the most iconic names in NFL history was selected by the New York Giants. OBJ looked like the best wide receiver of his draft class early on. Of course, he had won the Offensive Rookie of the Year as he went for 91 catches for 1,305 yards and 12 touchdowns in just 12 games. We all know about his insane one-handed catch by now. That happened versus the Cowboys. With more games played in year 2, Odell had 96 catches for 1,450 yards and 13 touchdowns. In his 3rd season, he went for over 1,300 yards again. He was selected to 3 Pro Bowls and 2 second-team All-Pros in his first 3 seasons. However, in 2017, everything changed. Odell fractured his ankle and it required season-ending surgery, so he missed the last 11 games of the season. The Giants gave Odell a 5-year extension worth $95 million that offseason. In 2018, him and Saquon were an electric and exciting duo to watch for a season. Then, out of nowhere, Odell was traded to the Cleveland Browns for Jabril Peppers, a 1st and 3rd round pick. With the Browns, he posted one 1,000-yard season, but only scored 4 touchdowns. In 2020, Odell tore his ACL after trying to chase down a Baker Mayfield interception. In 2021, halfway through the year, he was released by the Browns and signed to the Los Angeles Rams. He'd go on to help them win a Super Bowl with good playoff performances. Unfortunately, Odell couldn't catch a break and tore his ACL on a non-contact play in the Super Bowl. In that game, he was even on pace to win Super Bowl MVP. He took off 2022 to rehab his torn ACL and then signed with the Ravens in 2023. He then provided good veteran leadership. He's signed with the Dolphins currently, where he hasn't played much in 2024. Fourth wide receiver taken.
With the 20th pick in the 2014 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Brandon Cooks, wide receiver, Oregon State.
Brandon Cooks was selected by the New Orleans Saints with the 20th overall pick. In his rookie season, he had 53 catches for 550 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cooks only played in 10 games that season due to an injury to his thumb. He took his game to the next level in his 2nd season, going for 84 catches for 1,138 yards and 9 touchdowns. After another 100-yard campaign in 2016, the Saints traded Cooks to the Patriots for a 1st and 3rd round pick. With the Patriots, he posted yet another 1,000-yard season. Then, a year later, Cooks was traded once again for a first-round pick to the Los Angeles Rams. Rams gave him a 5-year extension worth up to $81 million. With the Rams, he posted his career high in receiving yards with 1,200 yards. Ironic enough, he faced the Patriots in the Super Bowl. In this game, he went for 8 catches and 120 yards, but lost a low-scoring game 13-3. After an underwhelming year in 2019, the Rams traded Cooks to the Texans for a second-round draft pick. After posting 2 1,000-yard seasons with the Texans, he was then traded to the Cowboys. Cooks has over 9,000 yards in his career, and it makes no sense that he has been traded so much. 5th receiver taken, Kelvin Benjamin. Kelvin Benjamin was selected by the Carolina Panthers with a 28th overall pick. Kelvin is a big wide receiver who's 6'5" and 245 pounds. He looked promising as a rookie with 73 catches for 1,009 yards with 9 touchdowns. He missed the 2015 season with a torn ACL. In his 3rd season, he had 941 yards with 7 touchdowns. He then was traded to the Buffalo Bills for a 3rd-round pick. Halfway through the 2017 season, due to poor play and work ethic, his time in Buffalo ended rather quickly. In 2018, he played for the Chiefs in 3 games and hasn't been on an NFL roster since 2018. He tried to come back as a tight end, and it didn't work. 6th receiver taken. Marquise Lee was selected in the 2nd round 39th overall by the Jacksonville Jaguars. In his rookie season, he had just over 400 receiving yards. His 2nd season was riddled with injuries and lack of playing time. He finished with just 191 yards. Things were looking bad for him. Maybe he'll be out of the league this quickly. Fortunately, Marquise bounced back in 2016 with 63 catches for 851 yards. In 2017, he followed that up with 56 catches for 702 yards. After 2 pretty solid seasons, he got a 4-year, $380 million contract extension. Unfortunately, after things started to go up for him, in the 2018 preseason, he tore his ACL. In 2019, he tried to come back and play and suffered a knee injury and was placed on the injured reserve. He was cut by the Jaguars in 2020 and then signed a 1-year deal with the Patriots. He announced that he would opt out of the 2020 season and then tried again with the 49ers in 2021. He got released by the 49ers after 4 days and hasn't been in the NFL since. 7th receiver taken. Jordan Matthews was selected in the 2nd round, 42nd overall by the Philadelphia Eagles. As a rookie, he had 67 catches for 872 yards with 8 touchdowns. He got even better as a 2nd-year player, having 85 catches for 997 yards with 8 touchdowns once again. With another 800-yard year in 2016, the Eagles decided to move on from Jordan. They traded him to the Buffalo Bills with a draft pick to acquire defensive back Ronald Darby. He lasted 1 year with them, putting up not-so-great numbers. He then got signed to the Patriots and cut due to injury right before training camp. Jordan Matthews then bounced around the NFL, signing to the Eagles 2 more times and the 49ers. Today he has converted to tight end and is currently on the Carolina Panthers practice squad. 8th receiver taken. Paul Richardson was selected by the Seattle Seahawks in the 2nd round, 45th overall. As a rookie, he barely played and finished with 271 receiving yards. After another mediocre 2016 season, he finally found something. In 2017, he finished with 44 catches for 703 yards with 6 touchdowns. He hit free agency the year after, having these stats, and got a 5-year, $40 million deal with Washington. After 2 mediocre, injury-riddled seasons, he was cut by Washington. He would re-sign with the Seahawks in 2020 before being cut a week later. 9th receiver taken, Devonte Adams. Then finally, Davante Adams was drafted by the Green Bay Packers with the 52nd overall pick. Adams had a slow start to his career compared to some of these guys above him. As a rookie, he had 38 catches for 446 yards with 3 touchdowns. In his 2nd season, his targets went from 66 to 94, but his stats stayed relatively the same. In 2016, he finally showed some flashes of greatness. He had 997 yards with an impressive 12 touchdowns. In the 2018 season, him and Rodgers would really dial in. He had 111 catches for 1,386 yards with 13 touchdowns. From 2020 to 2023, he made 3 first-team All-Pros. He led the league twice in touchdowns in this span, with an insane 18 touchdowns in 2020. His best season was 2022, where he had 100 catches for 1,516 yards with 14 touchdowns. That 2022 was with the Las Vegas Raiders. It was a shock to many, but with Aaron Rodgers in the last year of his contract, Adams didn't believe in Jordan Love, so he went to play with his college quarterback and good friend teammate Derek Carr. He had one of the best seasons with Carr, but after just one season with his best friend Carr, the Raiders decided not to re-sign him and he went off to the Saints. Following the 2023 season, he had some bad quarterback play, a combination of Jimmy G, Aiden O'Connell, and Brian Hoyer. Adams finished that season with 103 catches for 1,144 yards with 8 touchdowns. This was still a good year, but not up to the caliber of a season we're used to seeing from him. In 2024, it was obvious that he was tired of poor quarterback play, so his buddy Aaron Rodgers made sure his Jets made the call to trade a conditional 3-round pick for him. Overall, this wide receiver class was great. Some guys drafted after Adams, like Allen Robinson and Jarvis Landry, are good too. We can say Adams has had the highest peak of any of these players, with the most all-pros of any. Who do you guys like? Odell was electrifying and easily the most entertaining to watch, but Mike Evans has been a model of consistency. Let us know down in the comments and click on the video on the screen.